So Sri Lanka is our neighbor, bottom down after the Gulf of Mannar, Pak Strait. We have this country called Sri Lanka at this particular point. This is the Cape Comorin, Kanyakumari, where your classmate, Miss Abhisha, I think she might have come back to Jhansi. It's a small country here, Sri Lanka, in the Pak Strait. Yeah, from there, we can go in half an hour time. We can by boat, but a lot of issues there. Don't go. So since 2012, Sri Lanka GDP growth has plummeted, come down continuously, and the manufacturing output has also even any growth, maintaining a flat line. So there was no economic growth for almost 10 years. 10 years, Sri Lanka did not see any economic growth happening. So economy is suffering through an unprecedented slump in the wake of COVID-19. Already it was struggling, and thanks to COVID, once again, like all the world countries, Sri Lanka suffered even more. It has become even more a problem for Sri Lanka. Yeah. Over the past 1 week, if you have been observing the information and the data and news that has been coming from Sri Lankan media, we can understand that an acute food shortage. One of the gravest problem for economy is inability to provide food to its residents. If it is a money problem, if it is any other thing, employment, some extent, yeah, that can be. But worst affected part is food shortage and inflation. One is people have money at their hand, but they don't have food available in the market. So prices go up. Whatever the food is, many people want to buy it, then obviously the prices will go up. Common people, the poor people cannot afford. And the government is not in a position to give subsidy. That is one ill effect of economic slump. Because there's no food to eat. And other countries, to help them, they have their own calculations. So probably, sir, why can't India help? That's really a good question you may ask me. You didn't ask me, but you can ask me. Sri Lanka, for all diplomatic purposes, going closer to China. China has been funding Sri Lankan ports and Sri Lankan part of it. So Sri Lanka, when going close to China, India did warn. India warned that in the Indian Ocean part, it's not good to allow China to, but they paid no heed to Indian advice. Now, we said, what have we got to do? When our neighbor doesn't listen and is inviting somebody into our colony, then naturally you got to pay the consequences and you would face it. That was the basic idea behind it. Now, India is watching it cautiously, but at the same time, yes, we don't want Sri Lanka to suffer, a very small country to suffer. So we should help them. And the plans are on there to intervene and take away Sri Lanka from the clutches of China, not but by providing food on a condition that you support Indian methods, Indian diplomacy, Indian friendship is more important to Sri Lanka. They are a small country, but they are very respect and self-respect kind of a country. So one should be careful about this. So staring at the acute food shortage, the combination of factors ranging from countries all put up adopt organic farming. Suddenly they become cautious in the movement for organic farming and all. So there is a slump in the traditional method of organic farming, and also they went to organic farming. It causes some discipline. Forex reserves are another thing. They can't even borrow. They can't even import. Because every country, when it exports, would expect some money from that. Like no country can give free to Sri Lanka, barring India. India can do that, provided Sri Lanka will come into its fold. So possibly we are watching it cautiously. India can give food. India has enough food to support Sri Lanka in the crisis. But for that, they have to pay a price by being friendly with India, and they should listen to Indian terms. That should not allow China to come, because we have already a potential danger in the eastern border and northeastern border and all. China is playing a game with us, in the Ladakh as well. And the western side, we have already Pakistan, which is an ally of China. So in the bottom down, we don't want Sri Lanka. So they want to surround India by their system. So they want to become a major production hub, and they want to beat India in that game. So India is waiting cautiously. Now we got an opportunity that Sri Lanka can be relieved from the clutches of Chinese control. Let's see that what will happen. So foreign exchange reserves have come down, and incidentally, we saw that India has reached 620, but only a couple of days we went to $636 billion foreign exchange. So that would not be a problem for us. We can support Sri Lanka for some extent. Yeah. The Sri Lankan government, however, on Thursday denied that the country was facing food shortage. This is a foolish statements come from the top government. When the indicators are obvious, the government should support the truth and tell, yes, we are facing it. So anyone can help them. But as long as the government is denying and trying to defy the norms and all, then any country would say, all right, when the president himself is saying that there's no problem, why should I intervene? So I don't interfere into their issues. But as a neighbor, a responsible neighbor, and being an elder brother, we are going to watch our people in Sri Lanka as we have friendly ties with them. And we also have a lot of historical and cultural connectivity with Sri Lanka as far as Buddhism is concerned. Yeah. So public security ordinance on the supply of essential goods was imposed only to stop their hoarding. So the goods cannot be stored. Goods should be supplied to people. No black marketing can happen. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on 31st August issued emergency regulation to control the price of essential and preventive mood stop hoarding. Hoarding is black marketing, stocking. Yeah. So President has mentioned that, yes, we are going to do these methods to control supply. Okay, promulgated emergency regulations on the public security ordinance on the supply of essential goods. So Kingsley Ratnayake told in the open media that the president has done. They're all indicating for the crisis in Sri Lanka. But they are feeling ignorance, or they're feeling innocence, or they're trying to cover themselves. But let's see what happens. We'll be following this news item for a few weeks to come. Once they openly state that, yes, they need help. Already the indicators have come to India that they are looking for some kind of help from India, and they would be leaving China friendship and coming to Indian fold. Today in the afternoon, they got this indicator from Sri Lankan government. That much the recent data, which by the time I prepared it, I didn't have it, but by afternoon I got this information that Sri Lanka is looking towards India. That much is a confirmed report. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Certain local and foreign media are carrying out media stories that are there food shortage in the country. There is no basis for these reports, the government director of information said in a release on Thursday. Even today, when the economy has been, not today, for the last 10 years, people have been observing Sri Lankan economic condition. They are very dire straits. In fact, there's a wonderful word, dire straits, deep trouble. They are ignoring it. I mean, they're trying to cover it up. The report that certain traders were hoarding essential commodities like paddy, rice, sugar, clothes under the public security ordinance. The aim was to seize such stocks and hand over them to state establishment for distribution of reasonable price. So the what you call as the public distribution system in India, they are trying to do, and that would be the right direction for it. Yeah. The military is also in the action, which is power to officials to ensure essential items. Whenever there is any crisis, the army will be called in because they have their own way of handling things. Some normalcy, some sense is prevailing among the people. So that would be there when food will be supplied to people.